2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Windsor Gardens or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
How good is that? It is Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie. Welcome to our Monday podcast.
Hello.
Oh, you got a bit of Blink-182 chat, have you, big fella?
Mate, I'm a big Blink-182 fan.
No, you're not, mate.
I love them. I love all their hits. Like, I love that one. Oh my God! Small things.
Yeah, well done. Well done, son.
And also,
great
All-Star.
band.
All-Star.
Band. And it's from
Shrek.
No, that's Smash Mouth, mate.
Okay.
Which I'm about to do any second now. And
Okay. Well, I do have an amazing story about Blink-182 that has nothing to do with their music.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Pope Francis' funeral over the weekend. Who was there? Where did they sit? Prince William was there. He was back a few rows, though. Wasn't down the front.
All right.
Interesting.
Didn't get the runway seats.
Joe Biden was there. Obviously, quite a few prime ministers and presidents from around the world. Emmanuel Macron was there as well, the French president. Donald Trump was there. Let's talk about Donald Trump because, oh gosh, you would have seen this. The lip reader at the Mailey Dale at the moment is very busy.
Like flat out, isn't she?
And I think she's around about 17 years of age. She also does, I think, real estate as well on the page, or does a bit of sport and that as well. But she's a lip reader. Did you see the moment where, he was sitting next to Melania Trump, his wife, and at one point during the 3-hour Catholic Mass, the congregation were invited to offer each other a sign of peace by shaking hands with one another.
I like that.
Forensic lip reader Nicola Hickling, who works for the Mailey Dale, said that Melania whispered into Donald's ear, "You should do it." An amazing moment in history.
As in, go for the next pope. Like, I hereby submit my entry to be the next pope. Is that what you mean? Or you should do it, shake the hand?
Well, wasn't there a meme going around over the weekend with Donald Trump dressed as the Pope, going, I'm going to be the next pope. I'm very good at poping.
I'll have a crack at it. They got a golf course?
The other one that I need to talk about, do you know who was there? Julian Assange.
Was he?
And I'm thinking to myself, geez, he'd have some documents on the old Catholic Church, wouldn't he?
Well, if he was going to release anything, he's not turning up to the funeral, is he?
Well, no. And I think his days of the Commodore 64 are over for Julian, and WikiLeaks are over because the poor bugger spent quite a bit of time in detention over what he did.
Maybe out of respect for the Catholic Church, the documents he had, he probably snuck into the pocket of the pontiff. So when he's buried and they finally close the casket, those stories have gone forever.
He probably turned to God, obviously, quite a bit when he was incarcerated, but I would dare say he would have seen some stuff. WikiLeaks over the years, when it was at its peak, there would have to be some stuff on the Catholic Church that he would know about, that would have to change your views, wouldn't it?
Maybe that's how he got his invite. Julian, whatever you need. Grab a seat, mate. You got the buffet. You got the drink station over there.
Yeah.
Anything you need, Julian. Grab a seat, mate. You're going to have a cracker. Ash,
and bring your documents with you if you can, Julian, and we'll burn them on the spot if that's okay.
We'll whack them in the little pipe that sends the smoke out the top when we've found the new pope. Ash, you're across this. You're a committed Catholic. Can you talk us through the process now to find the new pope?
Yeah, so apparently we've seen viewership of the conclave go up 283% since Pope Francis died. So obviously a lot of people are tuning into that movie to try and get across the process now.
Bet.
But essentially what happens, we actually saw the cardinals bust out to Pope Francis's final resting place to pay their respects before they'll now head back to the Sistine Chapel to begin this process. So 135 cardinals are now going to choose the successor. So it
They vote, don't they?
They vote. They
it's
vote.
brutal.
And it's not just a majority, but it's a 2/3 plus one vote. So they really need to have the vast majority of support for whoever the successor is going to be. And it can take a long time to reach this kind of a majority. And then when we do see that happen, of course, then we see the white smoke issue from the Sistine Chapel.
Do you know, Ash, out of the 137, or I think that was the number you mentioned, are there any that are a bit younger?
Yeah, I think the youngest is in their 60s. So
Right.
some are of the younger ilk, yeah.
You can't be an apprentice pope, mate. You've got to do the yards.
Well, that was my next question. You know, if you are declared a saint, I think you have to perform 2 or 3 miracles after death.
Well,
It's
yeah.
bloody hard work.
It's very hard work.
What do you have to have achieved to be a cardinal in the running for the top job, possibly the most powerful and famous person in the world?
Look, it's interesting. The Cardinals will have already discussed the merits of each of the prospects during what they call the days of general congregation. So they essentially go through, I guess, the merits of whoever the prospective pope is going to be.
Individually assessed.
Yeah, and look, it'll be interesting to see because Pope Francis was, I guess, known for being a little more progressive.
Yes.
In, I guess, his views around women. So it'll be interesting to see whether it sways back to a more conservative approach this time around, or whether we'll continue
You'd
with
hope
that
we move
progressive.
forward, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd
wait
hope
up.
so.
Wait up. I think they've chosen. I can see some white smoke coming from the balcony here at night. Oh, no, that's Chrissie having a dart. Sorry.
Not again. Swanee, come here. You're on after 7.
Swanee, you're on after 7. I thought we'd found a pope because I could see white smoke coming from the... Oh, damn it.
That would have been a quick process.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Blink-182. Amazing claim around this band. I love the topic of amazing claims. Amazing claims. So the bassist, let me get my head around this. The bassist for Blink-182, guy by the name of Mark Hoppus.
Yeah.
He claims that US forces followed his advice to capture Sadam Hussein.
How?
Guys, I'll tell you how you're doing. Hey, you're in the military over here. So, sorry, is there anybody in the military here at the show tonight?
Anyone Blink-182 fans? I've
Anyone?
got something for you.
He actually came up with a really clever idea, Fitz. So try and get your head around this. So this was back in 2003, and Sadam Hussein at the time, if you remember, before he was caught, he was releasing a lot of videos so he could continue to speak and connect with his followers. So what he suggested they do is he came up with the idea of using drones that could broadcast an ultrasonic frequency that couldn't be heard by humans.
Right.
Now, I think I've got this right. So what he would do, you could then triangulate the location picked up by the frequency. So the drones would be able to use 3 points, which you need for like a geo marking to work out where something is.
Yeah.
So then when he released his videos, you could time code it with the frequency from the drones picking up where the video was recorded.
Yeah, but how that triangular, well, how big would that space be? And they didn't know where he was, did they? They had
that's the
no
thing.
idea where he was.
He remembered. He said that the admiral that I was talking to at the time, he was generally taken back. He said, great plan. I'll speak to the chief of staff. And so when he was caught, I'm not sure if there's... I mean, I don't think the army came out and went, hey, Blink-182,
Yeah, Mark
thank
Hoppus.
you.
He's done it again.
Mark's gone bang from 50. I don't think that happened. So they didn't come out and actually acknowledge that it was Mark's suggestion that caught him. But he's gone on to assume that this is how they got him.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in a hole when they actually found him?
No, was that
Was it a tunnel
was that Gaddafi? I think Gaddafi was in a hole, wasn't he? And they stuck something up his bum.
You got to stick in the court. Yeah.
I think that I don't know if Saddam. Yeah, that was. Well, remember there was the photos. There was a lot of photos. I think there was a lot of soldiers just going, "Can I get a selfie with you, Saddam?"
Quick one, mate, before the trial. Quick noise, hey, guys, gather in, get a selfie,
Because Osama bin Laden was in the house in Pakistan, wasn't
Yeah,
he? That
yeah.
was they went in through there. Was he in a hole? Yeah, I don't know.
Because I think also with the Bin Laden story too. There was the guy who tried to claim the $50 million reward because he thinks because he headed into the hills of Pakistan with a sword, it scared Bin Laden out of the hills and into the house, into a more suburban area. So he put forward his application for the $50 million. Tommy, where was Sadam? He was in a ditch or something,
It was what they called a spider hole. He was hiding in a 6 to 8 foot deep hole. He was found unkempt near a farmhouse.
Oh, right. And they're doing a bit of hide and seek.
Yeah.
I thought Dog the Bounty Hunter found him. No, he was looking for him.
Didn't he hook up with his cousin, Dog the Bounty Hunter, or something
don't
like that?
know.
Oh, they got married.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
He married his cousin?
Yes.
Is that before he found Sadam?
Yeah, they married in a spider hole. It was a very weird wedding.
Could you imagine dropping the Dog Bounty Hunter into a war zone and just watching him go with that long, sort of blondish greying hair?
And funny enough, not many people know this, but Dog the Bounty Hunter married his cousin, wedding song, All the Small Things by Blink-182's.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
What a weird tie-in. There's your triangular version of Amazing Claims.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Windsor Gardens or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
Look, we know how passionate we are about sport in this country. We are a sport-driven country, and you know what? There's nothing better than getting the kids out of the house on the weekend, down to their local team environment. That's what I love about it as well, but it can get quite heated. Over the weekend, this is unbelievable. So, in Fairfield, there was a huge fight that broke out in an under-sevens soccer match.
Under-sevens.
Under sevens.
Under sevens?
Okay.
Under sevens.
Serious footy.
I'm about to show you a video that was put up on one of my favourite Instagram accounts of all time. It's called Humans of Bankstown. But this is 2 mums going hell for leather, but have a listen to this.
No way. Look at him, look at him, look at him, look at him, look at him. Look at him, look at him, look at him.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
He's throwing punches.
It's
On the ground, rumble.
Tell you what, that active wear is working overtime trying to keep up with the brawl.
Do you know, it
there's
seems to be...
kids. You can see the kids standing around the fight. That's the worst thing about it. And it was out of control.
That is alarming.
They're not humans, mate.
So 2 women, 31 and 38, and 2 men, 39 and 42, were charged with affray, police said, and were taken down to the local police station. This is under sevens. And I understand it can get quite heated, but I mean, to get to the point where you are in a physical altercation with someone else at an under sevens match, come on.
I know. I've never understood it. I got into a little bit of trouble once at one of Leo's very early on soccer games. One of the dads was properly yelling from the sidelines at his son, like in a voice that is not used at my house. Right. So
yeah.
I saw Leo clock the volume and the content of the screaming, and he was like, "What is that, Matt? What are those sounds coming out of that, man?" It was just completely foreign to him, and I had to say to the guy, "I'm so sorry, but you understand that this is supposed to be fun, and these kids are in grade 1.
This is a team sport where they build confidence and have fun."
I went to our local team was Glenelg Football Club, and my old man used to play for them, and we used to go watch them play. And I still remember as a young child sitting next to Dad, and I'd be asking for 20 cents to go get some lollies or whatever, and someone yelled out, our favourite player for that team was Peter Carey, and someone yelled out, "Peter Carey's a fairy."
Right. Like a tooth fairy.
It was on. It was on, Chrissie.
What, full brawl?
Like my old man.
Mouth of the South.
My old man, I've seen him in numerous fights with locals. My old man was known as the Mouth of the South. Wayne Daniel was another one. Like Dad would just absolutely go umpires, and then they would have a go back. I actually got into a fight on the football field, sticking up for my old man who had a go at one of the runners from the other team. Like it's just
So Fitz, you're just as bad as the rest of them. You are hooking in.
Oh, my God.
It's Gabby in Forestville. What happened at the under-6 soccer game, Gabs?
Hey, so my dad had taken my brother to the game, and while my brother had the ball, one of the other parents was shouting, "Take him out!" Like saying, "Go and injure my brother to get him out of the game."
No.
Unbelievable.
Did
Yeah,
you
that's
have a
full on.
word? Did you have a word to him, Gab?
It was my dad, actually, and he's a big 6'6" guy. He's like, "Do you want to take me out as well, mate?"
Oh, right. That's how it starts.
Under-6s.
Oh, and the minute one person gets loud, the other person has to go louder, and then you have to
Yeah.
continue to outdo. Gabby, that is terrible.
Well, I know. Well, Whip, you're at East Footy Club as well, aren't you? And
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of parents that will yell out legal action, and there's lots of lawyers.
Oh,
at the
there
club.
was a fight the other day, but that was nothing to do with on field. I think one of the Bentleys got scratched in the car park. It was terrible.
Yeah.
We're all in shock.
Your nemesis was like, Your Honour, may I approach the bench?
Maria and Ryde, what happened at your son's soccer match?
Hi, guys. Welcome back, too.
Thanks, Maria.
thanks,
Love
Maria.
you.
Yeah. So I think it was like under 14, my son's soccer, and we were at a match, and we could hear the coach of the opposing team telling the boys to take our boys out and to sort of get them at the knee.
Sweep the leg.
And and so the fathers on our team were getting a bit heated, and I'm saying, "Calm down, we don't want anything to happen." And then, but obviously the coach's instructions were followed by his team, and they flipped one of our boys, like they took him out somehow.
Jeez.
But he ended up doing a full flip in the air and then falling to the ground. He had to get taken out, and then eventually went to hospital. But it was just crazy. And then I had to there were two fathers on our side. They're all like calling out, all the parents were calling out and saying, "Ref, didn't you see that? What's going on?" Da-da-da-da-da. And then their team is, we're on opposite sides of the field. Lucky for that, because there were a few fathers that wanted to walk over, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
going,
bet.
"You better walk away, otherwise you'll be up for assault."
Yeah, it'll get really ugly.
Maria, what's the conversation with your child like after that? Like,
Oh, it was just crazy. When we were then, driving home, well, actually, we sort of commended our boys for sort of maintaining, self-control.
Yep.
well, yeah, for understanding the
age group.
spirit of kids' sport. It's not about hurting people. You don't want to end up in the ER, for
No.
God's sake.
Exactly. So we were sort of saying to them, "Good on you, boys. You held yourself and you did the right thing." Those boys, took it too far. It's wrong. And they, everyone sort of obviously agreed, and they were worried for their teammate who ended up doing this flip in the air. But all the parents were so riled up, and we're all thinking, this is like under 14s.
Yeah.
It's not World Cup.
No, it's not, Maria.
It's crazy.
No, that's why you should always do oranges for the kids at half time and tasers for the parents. Just always carry one in your pocket.
There's some old school soccer dads though that have the mentality of if someone's playing well, we've got to take that kid out, which
It's a
is
disgrace.
just totally wrong. Jess in Elwood, what happened to you, Jess?
Hey, so God bless my mum. She made me join the debating team when I was in year 7. And we caught a case of the giggles during one of our...
Oh, how delicious.
I would love to see that.
One of the mums was a bit too serious about our debating team, and she started yelling out, "Oh, girls, take it seriously, what are you doing?" Oh. And then the other mums had to intervene because they were like, "Look, it's just a debating competition, it's not that deep."
Yeah. And a bit of a laugh is a bit of a laugh, isn't it? You take it where you can get it.
Absolutely. I am third speaker for the affirmative of when you've got the giggles, you've got to go with it.
You've got to go. Imagine getting into a knuckle at a debating competition. My gosh.
But that's the thing. Idiots are everywhere, Fitz. Everywhere.
Can we just-
On the sports field, in the debating room. Like, What business is it of those parents, truly? God.
Tommy, another great topic in when did you laugh uncontrollably, inappropriately?
Yes, let's do that.
Like, it is just the best thing, isn't it?
Oh, my God.
And you know
A
what?
special 7-hour podcast
And
episode from me.
It gets to a point where it doesn't matter what the funny thing was. It's now funny because we're laughing and we shouldn't be.
Absolutely.
I love those moments.
The Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
You're fresh from Los Angeles, obviously, Fitz, and I want to hear more about that because I bet you guys are up to no good. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But I'm fresh off the plane from Denpasar, Selamat Pagi.
Selamat pagi, bu.
Oh, with your boogie board bag. Yeah, I saw that.
Bag saja.
Yes. I do wait every time I wheel that suitcase through security. I think, I'm sure there's something in there that shouldn't be there. Am I going to jail? I wouldn't mind it, actually. I wouldn't mind being flown straight back to Bali. I'd be like, dude.
I love your hair braided like that. That looks amazing. And that henna tattoo on your neck looks really good. Such is life. It's a great
Australian
saying, and it's Ned Kelly.
I went with the Gothic sands at about, I was tossing up between 8 centimetres high and 10 centimetres high. And I just went with the big one.
Yeah.
And also I like that it says, such is life, LYF.
Yeah, that's sort of the modern day version of Ned Kelly.
But I love Bali. I am the biggest fan, and I feel like I'm just my true self over there.
Okay.
I call on the way home. I flew overnight. I did that. I call it the bus.
Yeah, sure.
It's just full of Aussies.
Yeah.
Going to and fro, and it's the overnighter. It's the red eye.
How long's the flight?
And it's only 5.5 hours.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's an easy flight.
Some people, if the traffic's bad, like it is this morning with Dutton's breakdown, in the bike lane and all over, it takes
it's
some
5
people
hour
that
trip.
long to get to work. Yeah. So you've got to steel yourself for that flight. So I reckon it takes off at about 10 or 11 p.m.
Sure.
And you get to your destination early morning. But when you know it's coming, you've got to be like, right, I have to be tip-top. You need to prep. And, I had all my water and...
Yeah, peri-prep.
Everything, right. And didn't eat anything dodgy
Okay,
the
no street
day
food.
before.
Well done.
Because
Well done.
there is nothing worse than getting a little dose of the runny runs the minute you get to the airport. And this happened to the woman across the aisle from me.
Don't.
I know.
Don't.
So, oh, God. I just felt so sad for her. And she was there with her child.
Oh, my God.
So was she getting up? Was she visibly distressed? Like you could tell?
The first time I saw her was when I was getting to my seat. So I got to my seat and I'm organising myself because I want my book and my pad of paper and a pen and whatever. So I'm sorting myself out. Sudoku, search a word. Anyway, I heard groaning.
Oh, no.
From the seat.
Actually moaning.
Yeah, and it was like this. So before we took off, guys.
Oh, poor thing.
This is when that awful music is being piped through.
Yeah.
Right? And over the music, I just heard...
She's trying to hold her bum shut.
She was like, exactly, she was in a fetal position. Her child had the iPad out, everything. And look, kudos to the flight attendants. My God, they were good. But I was looking at her thinking, look, I am also a mother and I know how hard it is to keep your kids entertained. If your bad nasi goreng that you had at 2 p.m. this afternoon means that we're not going to be able to take off, I am gonna.
I've got an issue.
Lose it.
You want to hear some moaning?
She went through so many of those little waxy bags. So many.
Yeah.
And by the end of all flight, she was laying down as much as you can in those seats that don't really recline. She was in a fetal position. She could not care if her child was entertained or not.
No, he couldn't.
She was basically semi-conscious. By the time that we were landing, I mean, kudos to you, lady. You made it. You
Well
got
done.
home.
I've been like that before, but it was a Nickelback concert, unfortunately, and I was a crook.
You're in a taxi.
By the time we were landing, the groaning had changed to this. It was deep. You know when you throw up so much, your
There's nothing left.
throat is raw.
Yeah.
Her throat was raw, and I knew I locked eyes with her at one stage, and I thought, you're definitely wetting yourself every time you heave now.
Yeah, and it's just the lining of your stomach. There's nothing else left. You know what's funny?
There's nothing else left. Nothing was coming
there
out
a
of that
husband there?
at the front, but there was something
No.
coming out from the pants. I can tell you right
You
now.
know how I don't like
There
flying,
is no
Swanee?
way.
I
Yeah.
took off from Queenstown one time and I was nervous about the flight because I got through customs and unfortunately, the Qantas Club was under construction, so I couldn't get a drink.
Ah, damn.
And I was like, man, my perfect prep is completely thrown.
Are you a nervous flyer? I've
Yeah.
got a friend, Jane Hall, who's a really nervous flyer, and she's blind drunk before every,
yeah, I'm a
before
little
every
bit like
flight.
that.
It's the only way she can
I'm a
survive
bit
it.
that guy.
I've got a video I'll show you
It's not
off
funny.
here of him. He took a chunk out of a seat once
No.
with his fingernails. It was unbelievable. Tom, you were sitting next to him. It was very entertaining.
Thank you for filming and laughing, Ryan James, as we made our way through a Queensland
Yeah,
cyclone.
Paul Whipper's saying the Lord's Prayer, you know, as we reach 5,000
so
feet.
great.
Fitzy's filming.
Here's what happened. I got onto the plane out of Queenstown. Thank you, Ryan. And what they'll often do if there's traffic coming in, or based on whether they'll corkscrew out, so they just bank at sort of 25 degrees all the way up till they're high enough to straighten out. And that threw me completely. So I got a couple of bottles of red, but at the same time, I made my way through sort of 4 of the small bottles of red in the first hour. And then when that wasn't enough, I popped 2 still knocks. And that's a great combination. So I'm anyone's at this stage. Eyes are rolling. I'm all over the place.
What NRL club do you play for?
No, so I didn't poo in the aisle, Ryan. So anyway, then we land, and I go for the little bag because I think I'm going to vomit here. This is a terrible idea. I land, vomit into the bag. Then we get an email at the station to Nova. And it says, I was so excited to get on a flight and realised I was sitting in front of Whipper from your breakfast show. Then when I got off the plane and I realised I had vomit on my jacket.
Oh, my
And they
God.
included the bill and their bank details to pay for the $28 for dry cleaning.
And you paid for it, of course.
No, I think Nova had to fix it up. They were terribly embarrassed.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Windsor Gardens or download the Revo Fitness app, revofitness.com.au, or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
Chrissie's Clickbait.
Lana Del Rey released a new single.
Oh,
over the
yeah.
weekend.
What a voice.
What's it called?
It is called, I have listened to it, would you believe it? I can't think of what it's called.
It's
not too bad.
57.5, it's called. 57.5. That's the amount of listeners that she has monthly on her Spotify account.
57.5 million.
She's taken the PISS out of herself, and this is pure Lana, but she's raving about how many listeners listen to her on Spotify. But
Do you like
has
the
it-
song, Fitz?
I love it. I love Lana Del Rey. I think her voice and the way that she pulls it off is unbelievable. But she's having a crack. You know how with Taylor Swift, there's always hidden meanings about exes and stuff like that, Swanee?
Yeah.
This one, Lana tells you straight away who she's having a crack at.
I do believe it is Morgan Wallen.
Oh, I couldn't hear it. What did she say?
So she says, I kissed Morgan Wallen. I guess kissing me kind of went to his head. If you want my secret to success, I suggest you don't go ATVing with him when you're out west. Now, ATVing is, of course, all-terrain vehicle.
Yeah, it's a four-wheeler. It's the old four-wheeler motorbikes.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they make out on that?
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah.
To go ATVing with somebody would be very hot.
Make out on the bike.
Well, she's obviously he's kissed her and then gone and told a heap of people, and that's why she said it's gone to his head.
Yeah, but wouldn't you? God, if I kissed Lana Del Rey, I'd be telling everybody.
I'd let a few people know. I'd ring Tommy and say top of 8 tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, you bet.
I've had a Lana Del Rey moment with my tongue.
Morgan Wallen's he's upset quite a few ladies, I think, over the years. Morgan,
He's quite a lad, is he?
Has he?
Yeah,
I feel like you're thinking about that other country guy who had a weird, like he had a girlfriend called like Chicken
Keith
Bread
Urban?
or something.
No, who was the one who was married to Julia Roberts and he was an actor?
Lyle
as well?
Lovett.
Lyle Lovett. Remember Lyle Lovett?
God, that is a blast from the past.
Wasn't he punching way above his average?
Should we talk about? Should we
above.
talk about Billy Ray Cyrus hooking up with Liz Hurley? That's the
I'm
newest
sorry,
couple on
what?
the scene.
What now? Fresh?
Yep. Fresh.
Oh my God,
brand new
that is on my
romance.
list of things to Google. Why are we talking about that? Liz Hurley and Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah.
No, that
That's
cannot
on, isn't
be
it?
true.
Did anyone else see that?
How can you go from Warnie to Billy Ray Cyrus?
Pretty
You
simple,
can't.
mate. You love Billy Ray. He's a good-looking
Plus,
rooster. He's still got long
Have
hair.
you- I mean, she's obviously got a rescue fantasy because have you seen the latest footage of Billy Ray Cyrus at that Trump thing?
It's pretty
he
wild,
is not
isn't it?
okay, guys. That is not sexy.
Yeah, they're in love,
Like, that
guys.
is not the equivalent of going ATVing with Morgan Wallen when you're out west. I really wanted to talk about Lana Del Rey and her new husband. She married a guy and he runs crocodile tours in the Deep South.
Oh,
And
great.
it is the most epic, fabulous thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, he's the equivalent of, like, you know, if you've ever been lucky enough to go to Kakadu and there's that real Aussie guy that, like, smacks chicken carcasses against the boat and hangs it out on a fishing rod.
yeah.
She married that guy.
Right. The Matty Wright of the US.
He is so good. Hey, Tom, have I got time to lose my mind over Meghan Markle,
Of
or are we running
course
out of
you
time?
do.
Go for it, Swanee.
All right. As you know, I don't like
Meghan
feeling
Markle?
tricked. No, I don't like feeling tricked, and I feel like Meghan Markle has been tricking me for a few years, and she continues to do so. And I want you to make it okay in my mind.
Okay.
She is finally addressing the controversial decision, which I don't think is controversial at all, to stage a fake kitchen for her Netflix series. I understand why people feel duped about that. She did that insufferable series, and it wasn't actually at her house, which I think is fair.
Mm. Don't
you
worry
know.
about it.
Anyway, she said this thing, and it continues to confuse me, and I'm wondering if anyone can help me. Jess, you're a young mum. You'll be able to help me with this.
Yeah, go on, Chrissie.
So people have been apparently saying, why didn't you film in your house? We're outraged. And she said, well, I have kids coming home for their nap. And I just threw that in because it annoys me. And 80 people in the kitchen, she says, isn't really the childhood memory I'd want for them to have. Her kids are 3 and 5. What do you mean you've got kids coming home for their nap? Aren't they at home?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah. Well, are they? They're not at daycare at 3, are they?
Well, I don't know. She carries on about how she's a real hands-on mum, and she's always, and then she's also like, I work. What are you doing? Also, why do you say things like, you know, on a normal Tuesday night, it's just me and H packing the lunch boxes for our kids? Why? When my kids were 3, they were at home.
Mm-hmm.
all the time. I wasn't packing anything.
Chrissie, sorry if I seem distracted. I've just gone to Liz Hurley's latest post.
Oh, no, get off Liz,
It's
mate.
just, here's the wild coincidence for this morning. Not only can you see him hugging her from behind against a tree and his hand is very much cupping her left breast, the next picture, they're in an all-terrain vehicle.
Oh, ATV.
Oh,
Yeah,
They're
ATV.
in an all-terrain vehicle and it is hot.
Book the reception and the balloon art.
Oh, yes.
It's happening.
Well done.
I wonder what Liz Hurley's son, who looks exactly like Liz Hurley, thinks of this. Mum, not another relationship with a high-profile person.
Yeah, but he's got long hair like you, darling. It's
Okay,
gonna be
Tune,
fine.
we've run out of time here, but trust me, I'm going to be back on Nova at 2 p.m. for the Chrissie Swan Show, and we're going to do a deep dive into this new alleged relationship. Don't miss it.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Anzac Day, Ryan James.
Throwing this out there, Anzac Day is the biggest day for pubs and clubs in Australia now.
He said
Right
it.
now, it is massive. And Friday, if anyone went to go play a little bit of two-up at their local, I mean, gosh, we're talking... There was a 3-hour lineup at the Clovelly Hotel. The Royal Hotel in Paddington had a couple of hours just to get in. The Vic on the Park in Marrickville. My favourite, the Sackville Hotel in Roselle. I mean, a great place to play a bit of two-up and pick up if you're over 30, that's for sure. What about... I mean, this was the line... there was a 3-hour lineup at the Bellevue in Paddington, and then someone realised that someone pulled down one of the barriers and you could get in that way. Have a listen to the chaos here. Girls just jumping barriers.
Mate, you're better off going the day before, sleeping in the toilets, and then coming out once it's Anzac Day.
Done that before.
Are they eager to get in, Fitz, because of what you just said about picking up?
Well, I think picking up, I think that's there. There's an element of that, and the Sackville Hotel has to be one of the greatest places to pick up in New South Wales. But I've got a suggestion for you.
Here we
go.
go.
Why don't we have another day of two-up, right? And a percentage of the bar sales from the pubs that day goes towards some great charities like Legacy or Mates for Mates or Soldier On, and it supports all the return service men and women and their families. Why can't we do, and if two-up's going to be so successful and everybody is into it, why does it have to just be Anzac Day? You can have celebrated days, right, where we have two-up, the pubs are chockers, and the pubs have to donate a certain amount of the bar sales to these great charities, because I think we've got to embrace this.
What do we call this day?
That's a great idea.
What do we call the day? What an
do we call
exciting exercise to start a brand new public holiday.
Why don't we call it 3-up? So you have 2-up on Anzac Day and 3-up on another day. Like, I mean, it's just a day to raise a lot of money for some great charities.
4-up.
And also, like, make it a public holiday as well, because do you know what Australians love to do on a public holiday?
Yeah.
They love to go to the pub and drink.
Well
and it
said.
doesn't matter what we're celebrating, that's what we do.
So it doesn't even
and that
need
is
a
an
name.
opportunity. We're going to be spending that money that is going over the bar. Absolutely, Fitz.
Well, a sad tradition here in Australia is that when everyone is struggling, like the Great Depression, is the first thing that we do is that we give up our gyms and stuff like that, and we don't work on our bodies. We work on absolutely annihilating our bodies because drinking and gambling
Go
are
through
the
the roof,
biggest
don't they?
things that we do when there's a cost of living crisis.
Yeah. The other thing that happened when nobody had any money and families were broken trying to put a meal on the table, Taylor Swift came to town. Everybody happened to find the money for those tickets too.
Well,
which
this
was
is
great.
the thing.
You
Well,
know?
it's like the
enough
blues.
cynicism about my Queen and Saviour. Thank you very much, Mike.
Blues and Roots Festival was the same. They said this is the last one until they sold it all out. They said, yeah, we're going again next year.
Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Windsor Gardens or download the Revo Fitness app, revofitness.com.au, or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.